Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. As I'm perusing our show notes, I just realized that our document is one day off. So,
is it?
Yeah, I'm 90% sure that all week I've been saying the wrong date on all our episodes. It is October 24th. Our document says the 25th. My show notes are killing me. It is October 24th, 2019. My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon right across from me. Today we break down Week 8 and give you our starts and sits of the week. Before we get into some news, be sure to go over to our website at thefantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the FF Champs on Twitter, at the Fantasy Champions on Instagram. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Fantasy Champions. Subscribe wherever you listen. Click the bell on YouTube for notifications. Leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. We appreciate the love, so make sure you leave a review.
Yes.
I did want to note that this podcast is being released 10 to 12 hours late.
You know, it happens. You get tired.
He says it happens.
You get on the couch and you go, maybe we can record tomorrow.
Yeah. Life circumstances change the events of our recording schedule.
Yeah.
So let's get into some news. Adrian Peterson has a grade 1 high ankle sprain and a grade 2 low ankle sprain. He says he's going to play this week. He's expected to suit up, and he is questionable. Who the hell plays through a grade 1 and a grade... Okay, how do you get a
when
grade 1?
When you're already on the last ankle.
I was going to ask, is that on both... Is that on one ankle, or is it on both ankles?
I think it's on both, actually. But, I mean...
How does he even walk, let alone run?
He's probably just playing because it's his last opportunity.
A hobbled old man.
I don't know how
Darius Geis is expected to come back week 11. So you got Peterson on no legs.
Yeah.
He's just like, saw the ends of my legs off and let me run with nubs.
That's gonna be Peterson in like 5 years.
Yeah, dude, when he should retire. He's not even that old either. He's like, what is he, 32, 33
is he? No, he's older than that, right?
I don't know. I
actually don't know either.
Hold on. I'm looking it up as we waste our time on Adrian Peterson's age. He's 34. All right, never mind. I lied.
Okay.
Patriots acquired Mohamed Sanu from the Falcons in exchange for a 2020 second-round pick. I feel like that is a little bit high.
It is a little bit, yeah.
But we're not here to analyze what the Patriots gave up. We're here to analyze the fact that Mohamed Sanu is going to the Patriots. Now, for me personally, I don't feel like this... Like, what you got from Josh Gordon in fantasy games was like 10 points, maybe. 10 to 15 fantasy points, maybe, is probably what you can expect with a lot of bust games from Mohamed Sanu.
I think he's obviously better than what he was in Atlanta. So if you did own him, you're doing backflips, but he's still not like...
But I feel like it's not...
He's a low-end wide receiver 2, do you think? Maybe even wide receiver 3.
Yeah, I would say that. But I don't think he's going to make any transfer. Bill Belichick really, really likes this guy. That's why they gave up a second-round pick. Mm-hmm. They've been trying to get him like for a year, I guess. He was a quarterback at some point in his life, and he actually can throw well.
Yes.
So I bet Bill loves that for some strange reason because he's a sick psychopath. But, I mean, I don't mind this to the Patriots. This is what I've realized. I was thinking about this today because so many people assume Patriots wide receivers are just really good. They're like, oh, they're great for fantasy. This is a great idea. You take this guy and you put him on the Patriots. They like to throw the football. Tom Brady's throwing them the football. Let's draft them. Let's play them. Let's put the Patriots players on our bench and in our starting lines. There have been 3 startable, high-caliber wide receivers that have been on the Patriots and in the Patriots system in like the last 10 years for me. Or last 10 years, is Wes Welker was a great... Wes Welker was a great fantasy option. Randy Moss was a great fantasy option. That was over 10 years ago. Yeah. It was like 12 years ago. But he was a great option at wide receiver. And then Julian Edelman. Can you tell me one guy that you would start week to week outside of those 3 guys that was a part of the Patriots in the last 10 years?
Antonio Brown.
1 week he played for the team.
Yeah. That 1 week, he was worth a start.
Yeah.
No, honestly, probably no one.
But I'm like, that's what people thought Josh Gordon was going to be, and Josh Gordon he had some really good games, and I bet there were people who started him on a week to week, but he never produced like that. He was always like a low-end wide receiver too.
Right.
So I just feel like people are going to get excited about Mohamed Sanu, and I'm just not like should you run out, and people have probably already done this in your leagues because we were a little late, but should you run out and pick up Mohamed Sanu and put him on your bench? Like, I just don't feel like
I think he should be owned, yeah.
Okay, because I wasn't like, to me, I wouldn't run out, like, let somebody else do it. You know what I mean? Because I just...
Oh, well, if you're in like a waiver budget league and you're bidding on players, I would definitely let someone bid their whole...
But because the Patriots hate people, they did it after waiver priorities,
yes.
So...
Yeah, I hate everyone. Yeah. No, I think he is worth an ad, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't start him, though, until... we see how involved he actually is.
It's easy to, like, I realize this when we do our waiver show, it's easy to, like, sit there and go, oh, you should pick up this player, but then when it comes to who to drop, that's where not picking up certain players comes. Like, I would love to handcuff, and I'm trying to do that right now, but with bye weeks, it's literally impossible. You have to wait till bye weeks are over to start handcuffing players.
And by then, someone might have already stole your guy or someone's hurt.
Right. In other news, 49ers acquired Emmanuel Sanders from the Broncos in exchange for 3rd and 4th round picks. It's a good move for the 49ers.
It's a great move.
Considering, fantasy-wise, considering that the 49ers haven't gotten any wide receiver fantasy relevant this year, I'm going to say that Emmanuel Sanders is going to be exactly what he was on the Denver Broncos. And nothing's going to change. Which is, meh.
Yeah.
He might get to 8 to 10 points a game, but he's an old man. So, I also want to throw this in here now while we're talking about transactions and a little bit about the Patriots. Patriots placed Josh Gordon on injured reserve, ending his season. Apparently, his injury is not that bad. So, according to Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, and the like, Josh Gordon could be waived once he is healthy enough and would become a free agent because the Patriots just want to move on.
Yeah.
You have talked about how Josh Gordon has looked slower this year, how he's been dealing with injuries. This either tells me that the Patriots know something underlying about what has been going on in his character and they're just done, like in terms of like he's struggled with addiction in the past, so maybe he slipped up or something like that, and they're just like, we need to move on from this guy. We don't want to be a part of it. Or there's something more physical wrong with him and they just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one or the other.
They've invested so much time. They didn't invest a lot in him, but it was like a lot of time into Josh Gordon. So it's surprising that they want to get rid of him.
It is surprising though that they're just gonna waive him. Like, to me, that probably, I mean, I hate to speculate, but that feels like a first option type thing. If they're just gonna straight out waive him,
right?
Like if he was just battling injuries, I feel like they would just put him on IR.
Yeah. Well, and Josh Gordon,
unless they also might have like a difference of opinion, like what you were just alluding to with like he thinks he can play and the team is like, no, you're clearly injured,
right?
And he's like, well, then just cut me and I'll play for someone else,
right?
So
this is a speculative thing. I have no real information behind this or sources, but I actually think even though the 49ers added Emmanuel Sanders, I don't think that Josh Gordon would be a bad fit in
49ers just load up on receivers.
Forget you, Dante Pettis. We are signing Josh Gordon. I mean, as far as this is the hard part, because I own Josh Gordon in a league. The hard part for me is, do you cut him and just let him go on your waiver wire, knowing that he could possibly
just sign with
another team and end up being 90% better than he was with the. Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, he was with the Patriots." Like I was talking about receivers before, they're like, "Oh, he was with the Patriots and he must be. He's going to be really good. Like he wouldn't be any better on any other team." And I'm like, "Yeah, but the Patriots aren't targeting him, and he goes to a team that's going to target him 9 to 12 times a game. Isn't that better?"
Right.
So I don't know. If he goes to a team that will throw him the football, then he might have value. But what do you do with Josh Gordon?
I'd probably keep him on your bench, but I wouldn't be against cutting him either. Like if someone's out there that's worth a pickup, don't be afraid to drop Josh Gordon. But I'm not dropping him to drop him. Like, I'd keep him on your team.
Okay. But Lions, in sad news, very sad news, Lions placed running back Kerryon Johnson on injured reserve. So that means the closest and earliest that he can come back to play is Week 16, which would be your fantasy championship.
Is he worth a roster spot just for that?
Heck no.
Okay.
If you have an IR slot, maybe. But who do they even play in Week 16?
I'm going to pull that up.
Because if it's not even worth the matchup for a guy that's been out for 6 weeks and hurt, I just drop him. It's not even worth having him anymore.
Not even for an IR spot?
No, I would just drop him outright.
Okay.
There's other guys that you're probably...
Week 16, he's playing in the Broncos.
Yeah, I'd drop him. Just get rid of him. It's not worth keeping him. He can't come back any sooner than that, so that would be the first game he comes back, and a running back with a knee injury coming back 8 weeks later. That doesn't sound like a good idea. I have heard rumors floating around the rumor mill that the Lions have been, before Kerryon Johnson's injury, were interested in acquiring Kenyon Drake. This is just speculation, so there's no real rumors behind it. We know the Dolphins want to trade him. The Lions need a running back, so this seems like an obvious fit. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Because the guy that everyone picked up this week, Ty Johnson, he can't catch passes for beans.
Yeah.
Zach, who the freak
Ty
is
Johnson,
their
I think can catch passes.
He was a good pass catcher in college, but they just don't utilize him like that. He can do it. He's just not great at it. So I feel like they want a guy that is like, if you had to choose a player in the league that Kerryon Johnson is like, I would probably say he's very similar to, like, they're very similar players, Kenyon Drake and Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah.
They're both great pass catchers. And they're both good runners, playmakers, and I don't know. It just seems like a good fit because you get Kenyon Drake for the next 8 weeks. If I'm the Lions, I put Kerryon Johnson on like IR for the rest of the season. I don't just say 8 weeks. Like, let him sit there and recover. You know what I mean? If he has a knee problem, figure it out.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, that's just my speculative note. Cardinals signed running back Alfred Morris and Zach Zenner. David Johnson has not practiced. So it looks like David Johnson is trending towards not playing this week. Be prepared for that on top of bye weeks already. Deshaun Jackson still didn't practice. He's had some problems with his abdomen for about 8 weeks. So I don't know what's going on with Deshaun Jackson. AJ Green has been ruled out for Week 8 against the Rams. James Conner expects to play Week 8 on Monday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins. Patrick Mahomes was limited in Wednesday's practice. He's been working with the second team or the second unit. A lot of people are like, oh, Patrick Mahomes might come back. He ain't coming back for 3 weeks, people. No matter how much he practice. It's like everyone.
Yeah.
I'm seeing videos float around Twitter where they're like, this guy's insane. He came back from a knee injury this fast. And I'm like, would you relax? They popped his kneecap back into place. That usually gets rid of a lot of the pain. And he can run out there. They're just worried about him tearing tendons in his knee at this point because his kneecap misplaced itself. So they're just trying to keep him safe before anything bad happens. But he'll probably be out at minimum 3 weeks. Even though he's practicing.
Maybe he comes back a week early. I don't think he's not playing this week.
We'll see. Adam Thielen is out Week 8 against the Redskins, which is tonight. Josh Jacobs was sidelined from Wednesday's practice. Keep an eye on that situation. And Tyrell Williams returned to practice, so he might play after missing 4 weeks?
Like 4 weeks, yeah.
He's caught a touchdown in every single game he's played this year, and he's the number 1 receiver for the Raiders. So if he's not owned, you should probably own him. Darren Waller. Devontae Adams, Week 8 status could go right up to game time, according to head coach Matt LaFleur.
Woo! Yippee-ki-yay. He's playing Sunday night. That helps us.
Freaking A. Josh Jacobs is questionable for Week 8 against the Texans. And I believe I mentioned Josh Jacobs earlier. But and the Jets are making Robbie Anderson available ahead of Week 8's. Week 9. So the trade deadline next week, next Tuesday, the trade deadline, that thing.
Does that mean they believe in Demaryius Thomas?
They shouldn't be believing in Demaryius Thomas.
I feel like that's kind of weird that they're choosing Demaryius Thomas over Robbie Anderson.
They're saying that the Jets, so coming into the season, there was expectations for the Jets to be able to win games and be good. And then Sam Darnold got mono, and they lost a bunch of games.
And then he saw a ghost.
And they're 1-6, and they would literally 1-5, and they would literally probably have to win out to make the playoffs in any form.
Which, if you see the schedule, it's possible.
Yeah, that's true. What a lot of people are saying is that they're just resetting, and they want to trade like Robbie Anderson away for picks to start rebuilding their roster a little bit for next year. So that would be the initial goal. It's not like Robbie Anderson's a key piece to the operation. Teams need wide receivers. Seeing that the Patriots gave up a second-round pick for Mohamed Sanu, I'm pretty sure a team would give up a second or a third-round pick for Robbie Anderson. So that's interesting information. But we'll see what happens with the Jets. A lot of these rumors always float around, and then nothing happens. So we'll see what happens. Let's get right into our Week 8 matchups. Now that we did the news for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the Seahawks at the Falcons. The over-under, 54 points. My goodness. It shouldn't be 54 points
No, it shouldn't.
if Matt Ryan does not play.
If Matt Ryan plays, I don't think it still should be 54
It sounds like Matt Ryan is not going to play.
That's the latest I heard was he wasn't practicing and probably won't play.
And he probably won't play. This game is at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So let's talk about the quarterbacks. If Matt Ryan plays, do you like him against Seattle?
No.
Okay, neither do I. Russell Wilson against Atlanta is a must start. Yeah, if Matt Schaub plays, he's there are people in the world, I believe it, that would pick up Matt Schaub to play him against Seattle.
Why?
And it sounds so stupid, but it's true.
It's because, you know why?
I feel like I'm going to get a question on Sunday. Should I start Matt Schaub this week? No, you should not start Matt Schaub this week. He came in
relief for Matt Ryan, bro, and threw a touchdown.
Oh, boy. Fun.
Which Matt Ryan couldn't do all game.
Yeah. So I would start Russell Wilson. What are you doing with Devonta Freeman this week?
I don't want to start him against Seattle, but I think you have to because it's Devonta Freeman. But if you have better options, I wouldn't start him.
Yeah.
But you probably...
I feel like...
He's Devonta Freeman, so you should start him, but his matchup against Seattle and if Matt Ryan is out are not things going for him.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is that even if Seattle was really, really good stopping the run, Devonta Freeman is, and this depends obviously if Matt Ryan's playing, but Devonta Freeman does a majority of his work
through the air, which I think he would have to because Seattle's going to take a lead early in this game and probably dominate. So
yeah, so that's the only upside of Devonta Freeman. His schedule is just awful.
Is it?
For the next rest of season. I was going to say for the next, every single game is bad. Like, there's maybe 2 good matchups for Devonta Freeman rest of the season. Yikes. So, I mean, the only thing, like I said, is the pass catching. He's been targeted twice this year, 8 or 9 times a game. And so it's like, I mean, if they're behind, they're going to throw it, and if they throw it, even like a guy like Matt Schaub, he's going to throw it to Devonta Freeman. You know what I mean? We've seen from quarterbacks that come in and can't move the ball downfield, they just start dumping it to guys like slot receivers and running backs. So
yeah,
Devonta Freeman might be a good play this week. You're probably, if you have him and you're sitting him on your bench right now, you probably have a bye week and you need to play him. So that's kind of where things are at.
Right.
And then Chris Carson is a start. He's probably going to rip the Falcons apart. Lockett, I would say, is a go.
Yeah.
Julio Jones is obviously a go. No one else really. Do
you consider if Matt Ryan plays, is Calvin Ridley now a start week to week with Sanu no longer there?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure. I don't think that Sanu was getting targeted enough to.
He was getting
not like
6-7 targets a game.
I think if anything, those targets are going to go to Justin Hardy instead of Calvin Ridley. Yeah. But which is gross. Yes, I agree. I actually think he might see 2 more targets a game, Calvin Ridley, which is not bad. That's actually pretty good. But he's just so boom or bust.
I wouldn't start him this week, even if Matt Ryan plays.
Yeah, I wouldn't start him this week, and then I might even sit Hooper.
There it is?
Hoop, there it is. If Matt Schaub doesn't play, that's not a good omen for Austin
You mean
Hooper.
if Matt Ryan doesn't play?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
See, remember how I said Matt Schaub threw it 1 touchdown?
He threw it to...
It was to the hoop. It was to the hoop. So, just saying. Just saying. And he is the number 1 tight end in fantasy, bro. How can you sit him?
Yeah. And then for the other side, obviously starting Lockett, no one else really is worth a start.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Broncos at Colts, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Jacoby Brissett against Denver. Is that a good matchup for you, or are you kind of running away from that matchup a little bit? This game was flexed, by the way, to 425.
Yeah. Which is weird. Why was that flexed?
I don't know. It was initially at 1 o'clock on Sunday.
It's like this is a primetime game. Broncos and... No, it's not.
43.5 point over under.
It's going to be a kind of a garbage game to watch, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Brissett couldn't... I think Brissett actually will be a good start. Home against Denver is much different than on the road against Denver.
Yeah.
So at home, I don't mind Jacoby Brissett this week.
Yeah, I don't mind him
Joe Flacco on the other end is,
get
Joe
out of
Flacco.
Here. We've seen the dynamic of Phillip, Lindsey, and Royce Freeman. The odd situations here are that, so Lindsey so far this year, everyone is really thinking that he's this like, he's the same guy he was last year. When Royce Freeman, even up to last week, has been getting more of the snap share. That usually trends in a certain direction towards one player. So if Royce Freeman reaches 55% of the snap share, at some point, Royce Freeman's going to start getting more work than Phillip Lindsey. But they're putting Phillip Lindsey on the field only when they need to run a run play, kind of. Like, he doesn't do anything else. When I watched the game last Thursday, he was completely worthless blocking. He's so weak that he gets arm tackled by, like, cornerbacks. So, like, the only thing he has is his elusiveness, and it's kind of like he's good, he's fast, but that's kind of all he has at this point. If he gets touched, he falls over. So,
it seems to me that you
I still don't like Phillip Lindsey, nor have I ever.
You don't like Phillip Lindsey, and you have a crush on Royce Freeman.
Yeah, I do have a crush on Royce Freeman. Either one of these guys, are they a start against Indy? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
No.
And then Marlon Mac, obviously a start. What are you doing with Zach Pascal if you picked him up for some strange reason?
Not starting him this week.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What about T.Y. Hilton? Are you nervous about him?
A little bit, but he's still a start.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think T.Y., obviously, on a week-to-week basis, is a start because he's really the only receiver there.
Right.
So, and then Ebron against Denver, I would say no, that's not a good start. But if you have Ebron on your team, he's going to be I got 1 fantasy point from my tight end, or I got 10 fantasy points from my tight end because he caught a touchdown.
Right.
Or that week he's caught 3 balls and had
3 touchdowns.
Yeah. So I would say Ebron is a sit, but if you need a long Hail Mary shot, why not start Ebron? And then, so with the trade of Emmanuel Sanders, obviously this opens up opportunity for Deshaun Hamilton and Courtland Sutton. I would obviously be more inclined to believe that this helps Deshaun Hamilton because he plays a similar role to Emmanuel Sanders. But this also opens up Courtland Sutton. The opportunity for him to garner more of the target share is there.
Yeah.
I think Courtland Sutton has already been playing as a wide receiver too. If he gets at least 25 to 50% of the work that Emmanuel Sanders was getting before, he's a wide receiver 1 on the low end.
He is, yeah. At this point, yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of people are going to be like, Courtland Sutton, and then when he doesn't play well, they'll be like, you told me he was a wide receiver.
This week against Indy is a tough matchup.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup this week for Courtland Sutton. He's not. That's the thing, is there's a difference between a top 10 wide receiver and a guy who could finish in the top 10.
Right.
Courtland Sutton is probably not going to be matchup dependent, but this could be the week where you start to see it.
Do you still start him this week with okay.
I like Courtland Sutton. I don't like the Broncos offense.
Oh, no, I agree with that.
It's gross.
But Sutton has,
really gross.
I think, he's got in half PPR. He's gotten pretty much 10 points every single week, except week 2.
Right.
So,
I wouldn't start any of the wide receivers for them, and then obviously Noah Fant, no go. Let's move on to Broncos at Saints. 46.5 point over under. I hope to God this wasn't flex too. I say Broncos at Saints.
I was just gonna say. I think you said Broncos at Saints.
Did I say that?
I think you wanted
Buccaneers.
To say
Buccaneers.
It's Cardinals,
at Saints.
bro.
Buccaneers. Are you freaking kidding me? Hold on a second. Buccaneers at Titans.
Is that what you wanted to say?
Yes, that's what I literally said. The wrong thing.
You
three
said.
times.
You said.
Oh boy.
First of all, you got the wrong team wrong, but it was not only the wrong team; it was the wrong team in the wrong game.
It's been a long day. 46.5 point over under for the Buccaneers at the Titans game. Winston against the Titans is a tough play. I'm going to say no go. Ryan Tannehill against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is this a good streaming option for you?
Probably not.
He had 300 passing yards last week and a couple touchdowns.
Last time a quarterback had one good week in his debut this season, I said, he's a must start this next week. You got to pick him up. That guy was Daniel Jones. I think he had 10 points that next week.
Yeah. He's been garbage.
I don't love Tannehill. But you know what? Maybe I'm being a little stingy because it is a good matchup at home. If you have to stream someone, I guess he should be looked at.
If you got one guy left and it's Ryan Tannehill, go after him. Ronald Jones, Peyton Barber, they are right down the middle right now in terms of attempts.
Yeah.
63-69. For some reason, against Carolina, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers decided that they were going to give Ronald Jones 4 carries in both games and that they were going to give Peyton Barber a majority of the work against Carolina. I don't know why they decided to do that because the rest of the time, Ronald Jones has gotten over 75% of the work. So I don't understand. I don't know that there's anybody
Maybe
from this
Barber
backfield.
has a little inside knowledge.
Yeah, dude. I have no idea. But I'm going to say that none of the running backs for the Bucs are startable at all against Tennessee. Yeah, stay away from that. Derrick Henry against Tampa. Tampa actually has had they've given up the number 3 least amount of fantasy points to running backs. So I'm going to say that Derrick Henry is obvious a start this week, but it's a gross start.
He's been in half PPR. He has been a top 12 fantasy running back.
Take away that 1 week in week 1, and what has he been? Averaging 11 points a game.
That's a start, though.
That's a low end wide receiver too against a bad matchup. Low end.
He had
RB2.
17 last week, bro.
Yeah, whatever. I would start Derrick Henry if you start him in your flex. You're probably even safer, but. Against Tampa is just a gross matchup. With Ryan Tannehill coming in, Corey Davis, A.J. Brown are going to receive a little bit more work. And we'll see in terms of fantasy production what that means, what Ryan Tannehill means for both of them over the next couple weeks. Against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, normally I would think like, hey, this is a week you could start one of them, but I'm just of the mind to go, I just picked them up off the waiver wire this week. They do have a good matchup, but I don't want to play them.
Yeah.
I kind of want to stay away from that.
I agree with that one.
The return of Godwin and Evans.
This isn't a great matchup for them, though. Tennessee has
not at all.
Great corners.
I think you got to start both of them if you have them.
Well, you do because they've been
kind of blows.
They've been that good, but
yeah.
Tennessee has shut down a lot of receivers this year.
Okay, over under 2 catches for O.J. Howard.
Under.
He says under. Cardinals at Saints, 48 point over under. Let's see if I can. Did I get that right this time?
I think you got that right.
Kyler Murray, I like this week. Last week he only had 7 points, but that was not because of him. That was because the game script worked out of his favor because Chase Edmonds decided to have like 100 million yards and 5 million touchdowns. So I would start Kyler against New Orleans. Do you disagree with that?
I don't like Kyler this week, but
why not?
I think at New Orleans is tough. He's only, to me, he's like
they run 50 plays. I really don't care where they're at. Yeah, they're in the dome. So,
but he's start week to week for me, depending on his matchup because he hasn't been good enough all year fantasy wise for him to be a consistent week to week start. He's not a bad option, but I don't know if he's going to be like a top. Like, I don't know if he's going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback this week. Not 100% sure, at least.
Yeah. I don't know if this is... I'm not going to hit the breaking news button because this is not breaking news that pertains to fantasy, but the Patriots just traded Michael Bennett to the Cowboys for a 7th that could turn into a 6th.
Wow.
Okay. That's interesting. Anyway, I just wanted to note that. Yeah, so I would start... I would start Kyler just because they've given up the 24th most fantasy points to, least fantasy points to QBs. So I'm going to say that Kyler is a start this week, but it's a tough start. I like Teddy Bridgewater against Arizona. I think that's a really good start. I don't know if you disagree with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one.
Chase Edmonds and David Johnson. Now, if David Johnson does not play this week, I broke my pencil in my pocket, and I really don't know how I did that. But Chase Edmonds is a really good start this week. No, never mind. I don't know what I was saying.
I think you were just caught. No, you were just caught in the moment.
I was distracted by my pencil breaking, and I said things I shouldn't. Chase, if David Johnson does not play, people are going to be like, "Oh my God, Chase Edmonds had 30 points last week. Let's go out and play him." No, New Orleans has given up the second least fantasy points to running backs this year. So DJ or Chase Edmonds, I don't know if I'm starting either. If David Johnson plays, it's obvious that he's hurt. And against New Orleans, it's kind of a tough matchup. I don't know. I don't know that I want to start either one of these guys. I know you spent a 5th overall pick on David Johnson, you clowns, but I don't know.
Hey, I almost did too. Not going to lie.
Kamara is a start. There is some questions surrounding his health, so keep an eye on that. If he does not play, do you like Lat Murray against the Cardinals? He had 27 fantasy points this week?
Yeah.
And it was against Chicago?
Yes, it was. Oh, well.
Chicago lost Akeem Hicks, so their defense has not been as good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say yes.
I would start Lat Murray. I would assume that Alvin Kamara plays this week. I don't think his injury is that bad. Fitzgerald or Kirk, you starting either one of those against New Orleans? Their pass defense is not that good.
I do want to talk about that a little later.
Okay.
But Christian Kirk could be making his first appearance in the last 4 weeks? I think?
Yes. Yeah, that would be it. And then Mike Thomas is a start. No one else on either one of these teams is worth starting, I guess. Bengals at Rams, 48.5 point over under. Andy Dalton is a no-go. He started off the season, I think, with 6 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Yeah, he did.
Now he's 8 touchdowns.
He's a good streaming option week to week.
We're idiots. Andy Dalton against the Rams is no-go. I think Joe Mixon against the Rams is a no-go. I think Tyler Boyd against the Rams is a no-go. I like Auden Tate, Alex Eckerson. If you pick them up off the waivers, they are no-goes. Anybody on the Bengals? Do you agree?
100%.
Okay. Goff, the Goffster against Cincinnati. This is a start for me. Start Jared Goff.
I hate to say it because he burned me so hard. It was 2 weeks ago and I'm still mad about this. But yeah, you start Goff.
Start Goff. Gurley, you like him?
I start Gurley too.
Kupp, Woods, Cooks. Throw one at the wall and which one's gonna stick?
I'll talk about that a little later.
Okay,
but yeah,
I'm gonna say Kupp. I think Kupp sticks against the wall because, he gets targeted a million times.
Yeah.
Do you like Gerald Everett?
I do. I think the Rams are going to freaking destroy the Bengals.
Wow. It's not even just win. It's freaking destroy.
30 plus.
He says freaking destroy. Let's move on to our next game. Eagles at Bills, 43.5 point over under. Carson Wentz against Buffalo, I feel like you maybe have to start him, but he hasn't been good. And, for me, from what I've seen, is there's only, maybe 2 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, 3 quarterbacks in fantasy football that are matchup.
Yeah.
What is it?
Matchup proof.
Matchup proof, yeah. So, and I don't think Carson Wentz is one of those people. I don't. So
I'll talk about that a little later.
If you have Carson Wentz, I would say sit him. What about Joshua Allen against the Eagles? He's most of the time a rushing quarterback. The Eagles' defense has been porous when it comes to stopping the pass. So, or stopping passing games.
Josh Allen this week, I don't think it's a bad option. If you start him, I think he'll get. The problem with Allen for this week, I think he's boomer. Like he can easily get like a 25-point week this week,
or he could just
he can get 10,
turd his pants and
throw 3 picks. Yeah. So I'd be cautious starting Allen, but I would start him.
If you have better options, I would start like I would start
Goff.
Bridgewater over him. I would start Kirk Cousins over him.
Yeah.
I would start Stafford over him.
Yep.
So like if you have those options on your waiver wire, I would go pick those guys up and start them over Josh Allen. But outside of that, I mean, there's like if you're talking about Tannehill or Josh Allen, I mean, I'm going Josh Allen.
That's
That's
Josh
easy.
Allen,
Yeah. Let's talk about some running backs. Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders. Sanders has been losing a lot of the opportunity. He still has 63 attempts for 220 yards this year. He has yet to punch it into the red zone in terms of rushing touchdowns. He caught a receiving touchdown a couple weeks ago or something like that. But are you starting either one of these guys against Buffalo?
No.
Are you starting either one of the receivers, Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, and if Deshaun Jackson plays, you starting anyone against
especially
Buffalo?
if Deshaun Jackson plays, I don't think I do because it just spreads it out even more.
Yeah, I'm going to say no go on any of those guys. Zach Ertz, are you nervous?
Yes. Oh, 100% I'm nervous.
Are you starting him?
Yes.
Okay. And then Frank Gore and Singletary. Last week, Singletary he had 7 carries, 26 yards, 4 yards. Was that like a 4 yards a carry, 4.3 yards a carry? It wasn't like awful, but it's not what you wanted from
Frank
Devin
Gore
Singletary.
had majority of the work.
So I would keep an eye on that situation, but neither of these guys are going to be good against Philly. So this is like the last game I think for Frank Gore and Devin Singletary that's going to be really bad. Mm-hmm. But against Philly, it's definitely a no-go. John Brown, you like him?
I don't hate him.
Okay. Beasley, you like him?
No.
He was like, John Brown, like him? Yeah, I don't hate him. Cole Beasley? No. Yeah, that'll do it for that one. Chargers at Bears, 40 points over under.
Chargers at Bears, oh my.
What was yeah, I was gonna say, what the hell was the oh my? Yeah. Chargers at Bears. Phillip Rivers. Mitch Trubisky. Melvin Gordon. Against Chicago. So Chicago's or not.
Yeah.
Chicago has a lot of people are like, well, how was Chicago bad against the running game? They were really good last year. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but one of their defensive linemen, Akeem Hicks, plays right next to our good friend Khalil Mack. And Mack, I guess, is not that good when he's getting triple teamed.
No, I wouldn't think he would be.
So I actually don't think this is a bad matchup for Eckler and for Gordon. I think either one could be a start this week. I would just keep an eye on Melvin Gordon and the consistency, and he's dropped. His graces have fallen very far. He started out as I think it was 9, and then he fell to 10, and then he fell to 12. Right now on the ECR for Fantasy Pros, he is now, rest of season ECR, he is now 16. No, 17, I'm sorry.
Melvin Gordon?
Yes.
Wow.
So he's falling down the boards very quickly. We'll see what happens. I don't know when the big week's going to happen for Melvin, but when it does, everyone's going to jump back on. Yeah. What about David Montgomery against Los Angeles?
I'm not starting pretty much any Bears player.
You don't like Allen Robinson either? I think Allen Robinson's become a week-to-week start.
Yeah, Allen Robinson might be against the Chargers at home.
David Montgomery doesn't have a bad matchup this week.
It's not
so
awful,
if you have to start him in your flex, or you have a guy on a bye week and this is the only guy, there's not any better matchups for running backs on the waiver wire, I guarantee you. So if David Montgomery has to go in your lineup, then I think you would feel okay about that.
I wouldn't.
But he's been garbage.
He had 2 carries last week for 6 yards.
That was game script, bro. It wasn't even like they gave another guy more. It was just...
Yeah, I know, but they've been doing that pretty much all year. They throw the ball. They throw the ball 70% of the time.
Most of the year after games 1 and last week, David Montgomery's been getting like 18 to 20 touches. So against a good matchup, 18 to 20 touches will do something eventually. I think last week was an anomaly. I really do. I don't think it was.
I hope you're right.
But anyway, Montgomery, yeah, I would be okay with starting in my flex. Keenan Allen, bounce back week for him against the Bears, or are you afraid?
Slightly, yes.
He's had like what, an average of 6 points.
He's been very bad the last like 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah.
Mike Williams, no start.
No.
I like Hunter Henry, not a bad start.
Hunter Henry, he's been getting about 12, 26, and then 12 again or something like that in the 3 weeks he's played this year.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Giants and the Lions. Do you have the over/under?
I do not have the over/under in front of me. My guess is it's under 47.
Let's see. 49.5. All right. Daniel Jones is a sit. Matt Stafford, start of the week. Ty Johnson, I would say, is a great start against New York. If they haven't added anyone, so
as of right now.
McKissick had gotten like 20 when what's his name went down. Kerryon Johnson went down. McKissick got 20 to 25% of the work, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So Ty Johnson is a good start this week. We'll see how he works out in the passing game if they utilize him like that. But if there's any matchup that he's going to start well on, it would be this one. I would start him this week. What about Galladay and Marvin Jones? Which one are you going with?
It's like week to week with these guys. Last week it was Marvin Jones, so just for the heck of it, I'll say Kenny Galladay.
All right, sounds good to me. Do you like the Hawk against the Giants?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. Saquon Barkley could make his return this week.
He played last week.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. He
scored
did
touchdown.
Play. Forgive me. I completely blacked out on that. He made his return last week, so Barkley is a start. Golden Tate, Darius Slayton. Slayton has been good when Sterling Shepard has been out. He's become a waiver wire pickup, but I would not start Slayton. Golden Tate I might give an option to in terms of low end flex.
If Shepard doesn't play again this week, which I think he's going to be questionable.
Yeah.
Is Tate like a very good start this week?
I would say he's a good start, yeah.
Okay.
And then Evan Ingram is a must start. Jets at Jaguars, 41 point over under. We have Gardner.
This is going to be a low scoring game.
Gardner, Minshew, and Sammy Darnold. Neither one start him. Don't start either
Unfortunately.
one. Don't start either one. Le'Veon Bell, start him.
Yep.
Robbie Anderson, Jamison Crowder. Do you like either one of those guys against Jacksonville?
Not yet, but I think I'm going to if they don't trade Robbie Anderson, which they might.
Yeah.
But I think long term those guys are going to eventually do pretty well.
Yeah.
But this week, after the week the Jets just had, you can't start anyone other than Bell.
This also might be the return of Chris Herndon.
Wow. After 8 weeks of him being on the waiver
But
wire.
I don't make any promises. I really don't. I don't know. If Chris Herndon doesn't play, don't start him. If he does play, don't start him.
Yeah, don't start him.
I would say Fournette is a start. This is a good matchup against the Jets. Yeah. He's getting... Since after week 1, he's averaged, I believe, it's been 27 touches a game.
That's ridiculous.
So he's a start every single week. Don't worry about it. The touchdowns will come.
So I have a question.
What?
Is DJ Chark, the guy that you've been up and down on all year, mostly down?
No.
Has he started?
I don't want to start him this week.
Against the Jets at home?
No. Sorry.
Okay. I'm starting Chark, baby.
You like
Let's
Chark.
go, Chark.
I don't like Chark at all.
I know.
Not a huge fan of Chark. Panthers at 49ers. We got Kyle Allen.
This will be a very good football game, actually.
Kyle Allen, sit. Christian McCaffrey, start. Any of the wide receivers
not
for
against
Carolina, sit
not
them.
against San Fran.
Greg Olsen probably a sit. Let's talk about
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo against Carolina. Yes, no?
No, not the way he's played.
Yeah, I agree. Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida.
I told everyone to start him last week, and they both crapped the pants against the Redskins.
It was because of the rain.
It was because of the rain. Against Carolina, though, is not an easy matchup.
I would say Tevin Coleman is a start. Matt Breida is a sit.
Okay. What about PPR?
Tevin Coleman's a start. Matt Breida is a sit.
Okay.
I'll stick with it. Emmanuel Sanders makes his debut, I believe. I don't know. I think they're going to play him.
Probably will, but
I think they're going to play him.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, he's a good play. I mean, it's not. I would not start him this week. See how he plays out first, and then go with it.
Oh yeah, agreed.
There are going to be people who start Emmanuel Sanders with the 49ers this week because they're excited, and I'm like, you just gotta keep your pants on and start a better matchup. Kittle's a start. Is there anyone else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, Raiders at Texans, 51.5 point over under. My goodness, this must be a 30-point spread right now. The Raiders are going to score like 10 points. Yeah, that's kind of a gross over under. I would take the under.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'd probably take the under. If I could find the game, that would be fan-freaking.
You know what's funny? This might be a playoff matchup. If the season ended today, this would be pretty close to a playoff matchup.
This game was flexed to 1 o'clock, by the way. So there's that. Carr, sit. Watson, start.
Yeah.
Do you like Hyde or Duke Johnson this week?
I might consider Hyde.
Yeah.
Might consider Hyde.
Yeah, that's not a bad option. I would start Josh Jacobs. He's become a week-to-week start after he manhandled freaking Chicago. He taught him who was boss as a rookie, so whatever. Tyrell Williams might make his return this week. If he does, start him. If he doesn't, there's no one else that I want to start on the Raiders except for Darren Waller.
The Waller.
Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins, start or sit? Start.
Sit.
Now, which guy do you like, Kenny Stills or Kiki Kuti? Because this is a throw crap at the wall and hope it sticks pick.
Kenny Stills.
Okay, I'll take Kenny Stills as well. Let's move on to our next game. Browns at Pats. Let's get it. This game I was a little more excited for as a Patriots fan until the Browns completely blew.
This was supposed to be
They're
such a good
going to get destroyed.
You think so?
Baker Mayfield's going to throw 4 picks, dude.
That's what everybody's saying?
I'm like...
You're probably right. There's something deep down, though, that's like, the Browns can't be this bad all year, can they?
The Patriots go 8-0. I don't even know what to say to that. That's ridiculous. Anyway.
8-0 against garbage teams.
So, Baker... to be honest with you, I don't like Odell this week. Nick Chubb, you kind of have to play.
You have to play Chubb, but everybody else I'm not starting.
I would say sit Odell. And this sounds senile, but
I am too.
If he gets a lot of points,
I'm not starting.
I'm saying this because the Pats D has been good. You can go back and watch the tape if you want to come back and say you guys are idiots for telling us to start sit Odell. Sit Odell. Do it.
Stephon Gilmore is going to be on him.
Everyone else, sit.
You could be wrong because it's Odell, but I'm not.
Tommy B against the Browns. He's been abysmal. He should be on your waiver wire.
Wow, not that bad.
IMO, in my opinion, he should be on the waiver wire because I don't like Tom Brady and I don't like he's getting later
from
in the
Patriots fan. Though.
This is in fantasy football you shouldn't have Tom Brady. He deceived you. The last 3 weeks he's been horrible, but he saved himself 2 weeks ago with 2 rushing touchdowns?
He had 26, 21, and last week he wasn't good, but the previous 2 weeks he's been good. In 7 games this year, 5 of them he's been good, 2 of them he's been bad.
So what I found with older quarterbacks, and I've talked about this in the past, in the offseason I talked about it, it happened to Drew Brees, it happens to Tom Brady every year. By the time you hit December, these guys start falling to pieces. Brady has not been good in the middle of the season so far. They got Sanu. We'll see if that helps. I don't like Brady as a fantasy option.
I know you don't. I think this week he's a start.
Okay. I don't know.
But
how much? Of the season, see, my thing is, I feel like the Patriots what they do is they just hand the ball off until they have to throw.
But
until they have to throw.
He threw 45.
If the Browns
he threw the ball 45 times last week.
He did?
Yeah.
Mother of God. All right. Well, you can start Brady at your own risk. I don't know. Sony Michel. As long as he has that red zone opportunity, he's a start.
He's been so bad. If you've watched,
he's a start in RB2 or a flex. He's been bad, but my God, if they give him, if Rex Burkhead does not play, which it doesn't, I don't expect him to. He's the red zone back.
If Burkhead plays though, people are going to start Michelle all year, and
if Burkhead plays, don't start Michelle.
Fantasy playoff time comes around, people are still going to be starting Sony because he's going to finish as a top 15, 16 RB.
Yeah.
And Burkhead's going to kill them, and they're going to be like, why did Sony get 8 points in my championship game? It's going to happen.
Yep. Julian Edelman is a start. If Mohamed Sanu plays, he's a sit. Dorsett's a sit. Jacoby Myers is a sit. If you need desperately a wide receiver play and Dorsett or Myers is on your waiver wire, I would not mind picking them up this week.
Ben Watson if Sanu plays?
No, Sanu's going to do exactly what like Antonio Brown did. Not production-wise, but he's going to play like in the first 10 minutes of the game, and then they're not going to play him the rest of the game. Yeah, he doesn't know the system, and they trade for him on Tuesday, so they're not going to rush him in because they're 7-0. Why do you need to rush him in? Like, there's no reason to. You're facing the Browns, who are 2-4, who've been interception prone. This just seems like a steamroll game.
It does.
And then the Browns will probably win. But yeah, I think there's no one else in this game that I wouldn't play. Let's move on to Packers at Chiefs, 47.5 point over under. This is gonna be a good game. 5-2 Chiefs without Patrick Mahomes. You got the 6-1 Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers is a start against KC. Obviously, temper your expectations. He's not going to get another 47-point game. So let's relax on that. No Matt Moore. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams have been bouncing back and forth all year. When Jamal Williams has been in there, he's been relatively decent. Like I told you, if they touch the ball 30 times at the running back position together, they're both going to get 15 touches. And if that's the case, Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones against the Kansas City Chiefs are both good starts.
Yeah.
Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
If Devontae Adams does not play,
unfortunately,
choose a Packers wide receiver.
Throw one at the wall. I'm going to say, I'm just going to ride the MVS train. I'm just going to ride it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll ride the MVS train too. And then do you like Jimmy Graham against Kansas City?
I don't hate him.
Okay, I don't like him.
If Devontae Adams does not play, I don't mind Jimmy Graham against Kansas City.
Lesean McCoy against a bad rush defense for the Packers.
I don't mind him this week because not only is it a bad rush defense, I think the game plan with Mahomes out is going to be to run the ball a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I could see McCoy getting involved more.
You should not be starting Damian Williams anymore, by the way.
No. Yeah.
Tyreek Hill start. Sammy Watkins might make his return this week.
I'm not starting any Chiefs players
outside of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, any Chiefs receivers. My bad. Any Chiefs receivers.
What about Travis Kelce?
I start him, but I cringe because Matt Morris.
Simple as that. Let's move on to our last game. Dolphins at Steelers, the boring Monday night football game. Of course,
this is Monday. It could have been any Monday.
We get to listen
not
to
a Booger game.
We get to listen to Booger McFarland talk about the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday.
The Miami Dolphins should not be allowed in primetime. And by the way, this is the Steelers.
This is so gross.
Is this the Steelers' third or fourth primetime game?
You're so heated about this right now.
I am. This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
why is the NFL allowing this?
They expected.
I don't care what they expected. You can change it.
I don't think they can flex Monday night football games.
They're the NFL. They could if they really wanted to.
He's like, if they really wanted to. All right, let's just say Fitzpatrick, no. Kenyon Drake, Mark Walton,
no.
Devontae Parker has been good. I keep telling you, Devontae Parker has been consistently good.
You can keep telling me that all you want.
Preston Williams, Albert Wilson. I'm going to say no to everyone on the Miami Dolphins.
And
Mason Rudolph, no. James Conner, yes.
Okay.
Juju, yes. And then I would say, do you want to start Deontay Johnson? Maybe. Look at his numbers and compare them to Juju.
Yeah, I know.
And then the Vance Dance. Maybe you need to start this week at tight end. I would say fire him up. Fire him up.
All right.
Let's go. All right. We don't have a lot of time. So let's do rapid fire starts and sits of the week. You get to say who it is in a one-sentence description as to why. Why. Okay? Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right. Kirk Cousins, because he's playing Washington, is a start. And my sit is Jacoby Brissett because he's playing Denver.
My start is Matt Stafford because he's handsome. No, he has a good matchup.
Dude, he's got like a thumb head. He's handsome. It would be justified if it was like, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, anybody. Garoppolo.
No,
not Matt Stafford. He's probably like, if you were going to rank all 32 quarterbacks in the NFL, he'd probably be like 28.
Okay, all right. That's not.
Where's Kirk Cousins right next to him, like at 29?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'd probably say my sit is Carson Wentz because he's on a terrible matchup.
You know who gets one with that though? Gardner Minshew, all the way.
Oh yeah, he's a must start weekly.
Must start weekly. Who's your sit?
Carson Wentz, bad matchup.
Okay. Start Lesean McCoy, great matchup against Green Bay, and then sit Chase Edmonds against New Orleans, one of the best rush stopping teams in the league.
Dang, McCoy would have been such a. Can't believe I didn't think of that. My start is Marlon Mac. Every other week he's been baller, and last week he stunk.
That was 2 sentences.
Yeah. I guess I gotta stop then. My sit is Phillip Lindsey because
good sit. I like that. I was gonna choose that one.
Tough matchup, and he blows.
My start at wide receiver is John Brown. Philly's been porous, and my sit at wide receiver is Jarvis Landry because New England.
Well, that was yeah. My start is this is kind of a cop out for start receivers. Not even gonna lie, but he has struggled lately. It's Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
He's obviously very good.
Start him. He's the greatest receiver.
Yeah, he's gonna explode this week with a very easy matchup against the Bengals. Sorry for more than one sentence, but I had to say it. And then my sit is Larry Fitzgerald because Christian Kirk might come back. And if he does, I think it's going to take some targets away from Fitz.
Okay. Start Delaney Walker.
Okay. Start Kyle Rudolph against the Redskins with Adam Thielen out.
I didn't even get a sentence. Sit Greg Olsen jointly.
Yeah, that's a joint one.
San Francisco.
Last time we jointly.
If there is a second best defense in the NFL right now, it's San Francisco.
Oh, easily. Last time we said to jointly sit Greg Olsen,
he went off.
No, I think he had 0 points.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the week he had like 0.5 or something like that.
Yeah, there we go. I was just thinking. How many people would unsubscribe to our podcast if we had some Donald Trump drops?
Yes.
Huge. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah. If there's a trade, that's a huge trade. Absolutely blockbuster, game-changing trade.
We'll just pick one player, and he'll be the huge player of the week.
Wow.
Yeah. That'll do it for this episode of the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Those are your starts and sits of the week and some matchup breakdowns. This podcast has gone a little too long. Don't forget to check out our website at thefantasychampions.com. And I guess enjoy your weekend. See you on Tuesday, Fantasy Champs.
Peace out.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter at TheFFChamps.